One of the top things that I hear from clients after they visited Meridian, Idaho for the first time is just how great our city parks are. Meridian in particular really puts an emphasis on having good outdoor gathering spaces, but the condition of the parks, the amenities that they offer, the vast size of them, people are just always extremely impressed with. So today I'm going to go through 5 of my favorite parks or outdoor spaces here in Meridian, Idaho. That way you know which one to check out. What's up, guys? I'm Chase Dolan, your Boise realtor, and one of the best things about living up here in our area is just the sheer access that you have to all sorts of outdoor activities, nature. You can really take advantage of all 4 seasons that we get up here in Idaho. And for good reason. A lot of times we talk about all of the outdoor recreation that's just outside of town. You can go hunting, you can go snowboarding, find a river to raft on, you can go to a couple of lakes. There's all sorts of stuff just within a 30-minute to an hour drive. But here in the area, without even having to leave the city, we have got some true gems. If you just want to get out and enjoy a day with some nice weather, get the kids outside to get some energy out. You just want to get the kids or your dogs out to lose some of that energy because they've been feeling cooped up. In Meridian, there are going to be a ton of great options, but there are 5 that really stand out to me. And the first of which is relatively new. It's going to be out in South Meridian. We're going to talk about Discovery Park. So Discovery Park is again, relatively new park. It started with the Pinnacle development about 5 to 6 years ago. It's going to be a 64-acre park, which is absolutely massive. You are going to have so many amenities in this park once it's completely built out. You're going to have a playground with a splash pad. You're going to have a climbing wall. There are going to be a number of pickleball, tennis courts, as well as some bocce ball courts. And of course, you're going to have the very typical park setup with a ton of basketball courts. You're going to have all of the big ball fields, both baseball, softball, soccer. And then there's going to be a few picnic shelters kind of scattered around that you can reserve through the city if you want to have a birthday party, you just want to have a gathering. For those of you that love to ride a bike, there's a big dirt track for you to go through, kind of race around with your friends. There's going to be some different hills. It is a great time. And then if you're into the skateboarding, we're going to have a skate park in Discovery Park as well. And like I said, this park is located right next to the new development Pinnacle, which is a brand new master plan community. I have a ton of videos about it on my channel, so go ahead and check it out. But one of their big focuses down there is to turn this part of town into the SoMe district, the South Meridian district. They want it to be a true gathering place for people who live on this side of town. So having this big park is great because it's going to bring all of those kids' sports, everything like that there. But eventually you're going to have an amphitheater. You're going to have all sorts of different outdoor spaces. You're going to have a concession stand. It is just going to continue to grow. But even if you went out there right now, it is a fabulous park. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Discovery Park actually has one of 2 Meridian City parks that are for off-leash kind of dog parks. So you can bring the pup, you can bring the kids, everything for you there in Discovery, but we'll talk more about the dogs a little bit later. The next park that I want to highlight is probably the one that I spend the most time in. We're going to head into North Meridian right next to the village. We're going to talk about Julius Kleiner Park. So Kleiner Park is going to be 58 acres maintained by the city. You are going to have a massive playground. There is a huge disc golf course that goes all the way throughout the park. You're of course going to have all sorts of fields, green space, just open space for kids to run around in. You're going to have basketball courts, you're going to have a few different picnic shelters, you're going to have a couple of pickleball courts, you're going to have bocce ball. And for those of you that love to fish, but maybe there's just something going on where you don't want to head out to the river, you don't have time to really get out of town and find some of that fishing, you can stay right here in town because Kleiner Park has a couple of stocked fishing ponds that you can use. And one of the things that sets Kleiner Park apart is it is just an absolutely gorgeous park. There's going to be a ton of public art around. They're going to have some obelisks, a couple of memorials. You're going to have the ponds. You're going to have rolling green hills. This is not a park that is just completely flat, like basically 99% of the parks out there. Which, side note, does make it a great place to go if you're looking to get some sledding here in a few months when the snow hits. But the visual aspect and just that vibe that Kleiner Park has is why I say this is the one that I go to the most. I have an office in the village, so this is where I'll go out if I just need to take a midday walk. Maybe on the weekend, we just want to get the dogs out for something a little bit more low key. Kleiner Park is one where there's all sorts of different walking paths. There's a few different ways that you can go to get around, but it just has a different feeling than walking around the outside of your typical city park. So highly recommend when you're out here, grab some lunch over at the village, bring it over to Kleiner Park, have a picnic, and again, enjoy that fabulous Boise weather that we have. And before we get into the next park, I do want to remind you that I am a licensed agent up here in the area. So if you want more recommendations like this, you want to familiarize yourself with the area, all of my information is down below. I would love to answer any specific questions that you have, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you are the first to know everything you need to know about living up here in the Boise, Idaho area. Next, we're going to talk about Settlers Park. So Settlers is located right off Meridian and Ustick Road. We're going to be in the heart of true suburban North Meridian. Settlers is going to be another 58-acre city park, and it's going to have all of the great things that the parks here have. It's going to have a big playground. It's going to have some climbing rocks that kids can go on. You're going to have a splash pad during the summer. There's actually a concession stand that is open seasonally as things are going on. There is going to be another stocked fishing pond here as well. But the main things that make this park stick out, in my opinion, is one, this is a big spot with all sorts of large fields. This is where you're going to find a lot of the soccer games. You're going to find the football games. They even every once in a while will put out all these volleyball nets in the middle of the fields for different volleyball leagues. You're going to have the baseball fields, softball fields. This is a park that if you have kids going through sports and you're in Meridian, I guarantee you're going to be spending some time at. And right now, most of the parks around town are going to have some sort of pickleball court. It is kind of taken over. But Settlers in particular has got a ton of them. This truly is one of the best parks to go to for pickleball, for tennis. They have got a plethora of courts for you to get into. And then one unique thing about Settlers that I haven't seen at any other parks around is they actually have a couple of areas fenced off with little drink stands where you have built-in cement cornhole boards, I guess. You're gonna have a section for horseshoes. Those are a couple of things that they're already set up. They are weather resistant. They're gonna be there whenever you want to go, which is just something that I have not seen around. So I think it's super cool, and it allows you to do a different activity than you would when you're just taking the kids to the park for another playground, another splash pad. Our very first home was right across the street from this park, so the big fields that we have when there aren't sports going on, this is a great place to bring your dogs if they're trained well enough and do some fetch. Get them out there and start having them run around. They absolutely loved this park. And staying with the dogs for the next place that I want to highlight, we're going to stick in North Meridian, but we're going to talk about Story Bark Park. So this Bark Park is going to be located right behind Meridian Speedway. It's going to be neighboring with Story, the city park. There's going to be a big baseball field right next door, but this dog park is honestly our favorite in the entire area. We have been to a lot of the dog parks around town. This is one of two that's actually maintained by the city, so that does help. But this dog park is one of the cleanest, most well taken care of parks that we've seen. They of course have the fully fenced perimeter, but they actually have a fence down the middle for one side to have all of the large dogs, another to have the small dogs. You're the one that gets to judge which area your dog gets to go into. On the main large dog side, you're gonna have a ton of grass space. You're gonna have gravel. The grass space is actually gonna have a couple of big hills for you to go on. The grass, I do wanna forewarn you, it is only open during the summer, kind of as things start to get colder. They fence that off because it can get super muddy and it kind of helps the grass not get completely destroyed during the winter. But it makes for one heck of a fetch game to get them running up and down a hill. There's plenty of grass space for you to go. And maybe your dog's into the agility. They want to get their brain moving. There are all sorts of agility drills that they have in the gravel side of things. Story also is going to have paved walking paths all the way around and throughout the park. So again, it's a good place to go out. You can take a walk and just enjoy some time out with your dog as they get to run around and meet anything that they want to. And finally, the last park that I want to highlight is a little on the smaller size compared to some of these really large parks that we've talked about. I'm going to talk about Heroes Park over in true Northwest Meridian, just across the street from Costco. And Heroes Park is going to be a 30-acre park. So it's going to be about half the size, but they are going to have a stocked fishing pond. They're going to have a nice playground. They're going to have a picnic shelter. They have a concession stand that kind of operates seasonally. They've got a couple of outdoor basketball courts. They have a nice aesthetic water feature. But the main focus here is going to be on the sports fields. They have got a huge green area that you can set up all sorts of different games on. So again, if you have some kids that are going to be going through sports, this is a park that you might be spending a little bit of time at. It is tucked back a little bit off of the main road, so I just want to point it out so that you know that there is a hidden gem over there if you're just looking for some place to go. These 5 parks are just scratching the surface of the ways that you can get out and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy nature up here in Meridian and the surrounding area. But hopefully this gives you a place to start, whether you're making the move out here, you're just trying to find where you're going to spend your time, or you're visiting for the first time and you want to get a real sense of where you want to be spending that time. If you have any questions about these parks or other things to do around the Boise, Idaho area, all of my information is down below. I would absolutely love to chat. And again, if you like this video or you learned something, hit that subscribe button down below. That way you are the first to know everything you need to know about living up here in the Meridian, Idaho area. But until then, thanks for watching. Watch one of these videos that's popping up, and I'll see you all on the next one.